everyone, welcome to Greana's Essence. On this third episode, I'm going to talk about something interesting, which is food. So everyone loves food, isn't it? So it's going to be about the origin of dietary habits. For this, I'm going to take Genesis chapter 1 verse 9. It says, God said, "See, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it shall be food. Also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life, I have given every green herb for food." And it was so. So, from the above verse, we see that in the beginning, God created the beast of the land, the birds of the air, and the creatures in the land to survive only on green herbs as their nutritional source. So it's interesting, but at the same time it sounds strange when we consider the animals which are solely surviving on meat. For example, spiders, birds of prey, and cats. You know what? It's also amazing that some articles in Science News have been released that spiders were found to be originally vegetarian at the beginning. The small jumping spider, Bagheera kiplingi, is the first known species of spider, and they have found that it's primarily a vegetarian. And a similar incident was noticed where a group of fishes known as piranhas, they are known for eating flesh from the bones, and pacu, another common name for these group of fishes in South America, have found to be more prone to be eating vegetarian foods. Though they feed on insects and small fishes, but they've found that these fishes who are famous for carnivorous diets chose more of vegetarian foods originally when compared to the survival on meat. So this is quite strange. As well as some vultures have been found to be feeding on palm nuts, which is Gaiophyrax angolensis is a scientific name, and these group of vultures primarily feed on palm fruits instead of fish or other invertebrates, which are the common food for birds of prey. And also to add on, there's another evidence that two lions raised in a farm by a farmer found to have more interest in eating vegetarian diet when compared to meat. And very interestingly, the cat which was grown in the same environment saw these lions and were influenced to eat also vegetarian. And when these lions were then taken to South Africa for the refuge, they were found that it was quite difficult for these lions to get acclimatized to eating meat back again. So now looking back at the ancient archaeology, we see that in the dinosaur genera, roughly 65% of the dinosaurs were plant eaters. Can you imagine? And 35% were only meat eaters. If you look at the number of fossils found, the percentage of plant eaters is actually more when compared to those meat eaters. However, we see that the wild animals nowadays, they have sharp teeth. If you wonder about the teeth of the carnivores, even the panda bears have sharp teeth, and 99% of them they feed on bamboo, which is they prefer to eat more of fruits or other plant material when compared to that of the meat. And animals with a large teeth does not necessarily mean that they prefer meat, because the teeth also helps them in other things, such as they show dominance or they attract mates, and also they guard their territory using their teeth. And this is specific for dogs, cats, and apes as well. And then when you see also the sharp claws, when they have done a detailed study, indeed the meat eaters' teeth are less complicated when compared to those of vegetarian or the herbivores. A latest evidence in 2019 has published that researchers analyzed 146 fossil teeth, and they found that extinct variety of crocodile species have found to be vegetarians in the beginning, or they were herbivores. In general, the crocodiles, as you know, we know they are meat eaters, but it's interesting to find that in the era of dinosaurs, they were actually plant eaters. And to have a wide overview, they had a lot of research on the crocodiliforms in the ancient ones, and they found that the living crocodilians were primarily carnivorous nowadays, but nevertheless they were herbivorous at different continents at different times during the ancient era. And the herbivorous crocodile forms were more successful in existing in variety of environments when compared to the meat-eating ones. And they have found that these plant-eating crocodiles have become extinct around 200 million years ago, and they have completely disappeared in the past 66 million years. So, around 80% of all animal species, include dinosaurs, died off during that period. And now we can see only the crocodile forms which feed on carnivores have existed until now in the later era. And we find that plant-eating creatures with giant body type were found in the earth during the late Triassic period, which is 200 million years ago. And scientists have found new fossils which are plant-eating, which belong to plant-eating creatures. So it has been recently published in the Journal of Science by Polish researchers that giant plant-eaters does seem to have existed during the dinosaurs era, and they were almost elephant-sized creatures. So interesting to see that only carnivores are usually big and humongous, but we see that some creatures who are plant eaters existed long ago. And finally, we can ask a question whether how these herbivores got converted into carnivores in the later periods. It's feasible. As you can see, the whales are actually good examples. They converted from carnivores from herbivores. Their ancestors were initially plant eaters, but later they got during period of time they have converted into carnivores. And it's also feasible for chimpanzees. In the African savannas, they were once only vegetarians, but later they became omnivorous and they started feeding also on meat. And so it's evolutionary change, and this is very much possible. We also witness in Italian wall lizards which turn from carnivore to herbivore. So based on evolutionary point of view, this is possible to change the dietary habits based on the environment or due to genetic makeup or so many issues. So from the above evidence, it is clear that the facts in the Bible is obviously reflecting the scientific truth. As we can see, God when He created everything was initially vegetarians or herbivorous, and the scientific truth also proves that they were mainly plant eaters in the beginning, the animals. And this evolutionary aspect is very well evidenced in the Bible, and the early development during the origin of life has a great impact based on the Bible. So meet you guys next time with another interesting fact.